Okay, this is the letter that I sent to Madelein Meiller to try and get her to help us with this plea bargain that the Crown has decided to do for this murderer. So, on Wednesday, April the 9th, 2014, my family and I went to the courthouse at 10 a.m. We went to the Crown Attorney office and met with Catherine and her 4 homicide detectives and another Crown Attorney that had just recently been appointed. There was my wife, daughter, her fiancé, son, and myself. They explained to us how they were going to do a plea bargain from first-degree murder to second-degree murder because they felt that there was a chance one of the persons in the jury may go against the other jury members. I was at pre-trial. The animal confessed to the crime. All the evidence heard against him and DNA was overwhelming. I told Catherine my family did not care about how much suffering we had to go through because our son Dustin had to suffer the worst death imaginable. I told the Crown we wanted him charged with first-degree murder. She told me it was not my decision to make it, it was hers. I believe she has become desensitized to her job, and I want you to look into my case. A friend of the accused was asked to help him kill Dustin also. Before he did it, he asked his buddy to help him do it. And that wasn't planned. And I put down my name is John Vidbaskus and when the trial date was. Okay, well, I never got to talk to her. She never got back in touch with me, all the phone calls I made. Madelein Meiller was just too busy. Considering she's a public servant and we pay her salaries, and this was such a terrible, terrible crime that happened to my son, this murder. I've never even heard of anything that was so brutal in my life happening in Canada. And they want to plea bargain it. How fair is this? Okay, so after that, I got a letter after I was told that Madelein Meiller had nothing to do with it. And the letter came from a Lowell Hunkins, Director of Crown Operations, another government employee paid by us. He says, "We acknowledge receipt of your letter on the Honorable Madelein Meiller, Ministry of the Attorney. On behalf of the ministry, we'd like to extend our sincere condolences to you and your family for your tragic loss of your son, Dustin." Kind. "We understand that on May 5th, 2014, a guilty plea to second-degree murder was entered by the above-mentioned accused person before Madam Justice Carpenter Gunn." And she heard all the evidence, what happened, and she didn't say anything about this plea bargain. She just sat there doing nothing. As this case is still outstanding, it would be inappropriate for us to comment at this time in response to the concerns raised in your letter. So you're going to wait till it's done? Is that like closing the barn door after all the animals ran away? What is this? I don't get why I asked for help before this case goes to court. I don't understand these government people that work for us. They work for us, right? They're supposed to help us, not the criminals. And then once the case concludes, well, that's probably too late by then, right? We will endeavor to provide you with a fulsome response. Fulsome response. F-U-L-S-O-M-E. I looked that up. That was just a load of crap, that word. Even the words that describe what that meant, you couldn't figure out. So his fulsome response, I didn't understand that, but I figured it was either a joke on his behalf or trying to make himself feel smart. But in my case, I don't think any of these people are smart. You should be bringing the full length of the law down on these people, making examples of them when they do such a horrific crime to a citizen, as terrible as this, and you don't put them away for as long as possible. You're supposed to make the next person that's thinking about doing something like this go, wow, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go away for life with no parole ever. Not, oh, well, maybe you'll get paroled in 10 years. This isn't right. Okay, so I wrote him a letter. To Lowell Hunkins, I would like to tell you what that animal did to my son. First, he asked his best friend to help him murder my son. He testified to this. Then later on, he was walking with my son on a trail that runs parallel to the Red Hill. He stabbed my son in the throat and left him for dead. He then came back, saw him trying to flag down cars on the highway. It was very busy. He climbed the fence, went down there, and attacked him, stabbing my son 68 times. He didn't plan it. No. It just must have been an accident that he did this, right? Dustin crawled under the guardrail under the side of the highway after he was left for dead again, in the middle of the median. This was on Sunday at 10:30. One car stopped earlier. They called police, told the police they saw a young man with blood on his face. So the cops knew somebody was down there with blood on their face. At least 4 911 calls were made, but no one went to help him. No first responders. Why? Doesn't anybody in the government want to know why? The animal told 3 of his friends he murdered Dustin, and he confessed. They have the knife, lots of DNA, like I was saying. This was murder 1, not second-degree murder. We need to make examples of these barbaric animals that do these things. At the end of your letter, you put fulsome response, as I stated before. Fulsome means adulatory, cloying, excessive, extravagant. So what do you mean by this? This is one of the most brutal murders that has ever happened in Canada, and the Crown should be going for the longest sentence ever in Canadian history, to make an example to the rest. If your letter, top right corner, it says, to deliver on the great public duty entrusted to us. That's what it says on their letter that they sent me. I don't know if you can see it. Great public, it says, to deliver on the great public duty that is entrusted to us, one which we respect and bear honorably, to be recognized as leaders who cultivate innovation and excellence through teamwork, sharing responsibility and the commitment to justice. Oh, so they're going to share the responsibility for this. And commitment to justice? This isn't justice. This is injustice, what's going on here. And I believe they are all friends and they all know each other. Maybe they go for drinks with their nice paychecks that they get from us. But anyhow, so now I'm here and it steadily gets worse. After this happens to you, you have to do something which is called a victim's statement that you have to read at court, that hopefully is going to put this person away for as long as possible. Why? Why don't they just throw the book at him? Why do the family members have to go through more heartache? And you can't even say what you want. They outline guidelines, and you have to put this in writing and give it to them so they can proofread your victim statement before you say it in court. How fair is that? We have laws and we have to have rules that we have to follow, even for the victim statement. And these are some of the rules they have for us. Has the crime affected you? No. Why would it affect you when one of your children was brutally murdered and no one did anything to help him? Have your feelings about yourself or your life changed since the crime? Well, let's say every time you see his picture and it reminds you how he had to suffer. No. Has your ability to relate to others changed as a result of the crime? Let's see, everybody you've asked to help you has said that one word. No. Has the crime affected how you feel about your personal safety and safety of those around you? Let's see. 4 911 calls, the cops don't show up. No first responders. Yeah, if I was in big problems and somebody was attacking me, I'd say, hang on, let me call 911. I'm sure somebody will be around in a minute. Of course it does. Has the crime caused you to change your eating or sleeping patterns? Well, when you see one of your children stabbed 68 times, and you see all the stab wounds that he had to endure, yeah, it kind of sticks in your mind. and we're supposed to write about this, but we have guidelines. Thank goodness for guidelines. Who thought this up? Why can't we speak our own minds? Has the crime affected your well-being? Well, I have high blood pressure now through all this. I mean, this has been going on for 3 years. 3 years. And knowing that this guy could be out in 10. Oh, and knock off the 3. Knock off the 3 that he's already served. So that's 7. Yeah, I'd say my well-being is a little upset. Yeah. Okay. Describe the physical injuries to you or your family. We're supposed to write this down, and then we're supposed to say it in front of a bunch of people in a courtroom. I don't get it. I will write it down, and I will say for my son Dustin, but I have never seen anything like this. Ever. It just steadily gets worse. And as for our politicians and our government employees that are supposed to help us, if they don't help us, they should be fired. It's as simple as that. If they want to help the criminals, they should be fired. They should be helping us, the families of the victims, not the criminals. And if you don't want to do that, there's probably a lot of people that would stand in. Why don't you hire some of the people, some of the family members of people that have gone through this to work in these positions? I'm sure it doesn't take a whole lot of freaking smarts to do what they're doing. I haven't even talked to half of them on the phone. They just give you the runaround, if they answer the phone at all. I'm still waiting for my letter from this. Well, like I said, never did talk to Madelein Meiller. She was just too busy doing what? What could be more busy than something this terrible happened to you? I'd like to know what she's busy doing. Maybe enjoying her expense account, eh? Maybe that. Oh, yeah, Lowell Hunking. I will make another video as soon as I see if he writes me back. Since I did put in the letter. Oh, on the back of the letter I didn't read. Let's see. I'm gonna read this. Oh, yeah, I put this. Something. Oh, there it is. Oh, and justice means fairness, honesty, and integrity. All I'm asking for justice for my son, who did nothing wrong. Would you ask for anything less if it was your son? I have not seen any justice yet, just injustice. That was what I put at the bottom, at the end of his letter. Okay, now I have to sit here and work on my victim's statement, because they have to have it in 3 weeks. We go to trial. So we have to give it to them so they can sit there and read over the feelings that we have. Money well spent for the government, I'm sure. Okay, bye for now.